Alright, here we are in Vocab Chapter 4. Your first word is Odyssey. This is a noun. Odysseus goes on an odyssey. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Our next one is protean, readily changing form or character. This is an adjective, so it needs to describe someone or something. A lot of times these are ways you may see it used. A protean actor, protean athlete, protean politician. Someone who changes their views, changes their positions on things. Someone who's able to change their character in some way. Number 3 is fiasco, which is a noun, and this is complete or ridiculous failure. My example here is the 49ers-Texans game was a complete fiasco. Again, it's used as a noun. Number 4, idiosyncrasy. This is a personal peculiarity. So it's some kind of trait. A lot of times it's kind of a funny trait or a unique trait to that person. The root comes from idio, which means private or peculiar, and it's an oddity of some sort. It is a noun, so you might say his idiosyncrasy was placing his hand over his heart every time he felt nervous. Or maybe her idiosyncrasy was checking her phone every 5 minutes to see if the guy she was interested in had called, something like that. Number 5, this one is quintessence, and if you use it as a noun, then you would need to say something like right here, Satan is the quintessence of evil, or Christ is the quintessence of love. It means like the ultimate example of. If you use it as an adjective, quintessential, you could say that he is the quintessential representation of manliness, something like that, about Odysseus if you wanted to. Number 6 is rankle, which is a verb. It means cause bitterness, hatred, or resentment, so it does not cause positive things. And an example might be your behavior rankled your parents. Next we've got decimate, which is a verb, and it comes from the root decu, which is 10, and this was a significant number to the Romans, connotating widespread or a lot of something. So decimate means to destroy or kill a large part of. And if we looked at our Wells Fellow, he talks about how the Nazis were trying to decimate an entire culture, or about how the U.S. has been accused of decimating a lot of the cultural icons in the Middle East. Number 8 is narcissism. This is a noun. It is extreme self-love or self-admiration. If you haven't already, read the story of Narcissus. I think it's an interesting one. And we're going to see this come up in literature quite a bit. Holden Caulfield, we talked about how perhaps he has narcissistic personality disorder, which would mean that he's incredibly inwardly focused. So if one possesses narcissism, that means they have extreme self-love, selfishness. Number 9 is incumbent. It can be a noun or an adjective. If it's an adjective, if you said incumbent president, that would be an adjective form. But if you just said during the elections, President Obama was the incumbent, then it would be in noun form. You could also say, because one of the definitions is that it's a duty or an obligation, something that's required, you could say it is incumbent upon her to XYZ, or it is incumbent upon him to XYZ. And then finally, number 10 is succumb, which is a verb. And a lot of times it's not a positive thing if you succumb to something. Do not succumb to the temptation to not study the night before a quiz, or do not succumb to the idea that you can't succeed in this class, something like that. Do not succumb to cancer. That's one of the examples that's actually in your book as well. It means to give in, give up, yield, or even to die. Please let me know if you have any questions about these in tutorial, and happy studying for Vocab Chapter 4.